Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, I am Zombie Cartman, and today I'm making a video response to a tweet that I saw from the Games Radar account on Twitter yesterday about the PS4 controller in relation to the PS3 controller. Now, in this tweet, these people allege that the PS4 controller is infinitely better than the PS3 controller. Now, I about fell out of my fucking chair because I played PS3 from basically the day the shit came out, back in like 2006, all the way through till the PS4 came out. Couldn't find a PS4, ended up getting an Xbox One. It's a long story, blah, blah, blah. I'll probably make a video about it later. But either way, I have a PS4. It's over here in the corner, duct taped together. Here's my PS4 controller that I still happen to have. Here's my PS3 controller that I also have, that I actually use quite a bit because I actually play my PS3 quite a bit. Now, I'm going to get into the things that I don't like about the PS4 controller. Now, let me turn sideways so you can see what I'm talking about here. It's kind of disappearing because of the chroma. You'll have to excuse me. But at launch, or when they announced this shit, this was supposed to be a touch screen, okay? Not a touch pad, a touch screen. So you're supposed to be able to, like, do things with it. I'm not really sure. But, you know, here's the deal. You got this giant touchpad. It's a glorified fucking button. All it is this PS button here on the PlayStation controller. Now, the great thing about the PS3 controller is that it's small, you know where it is, and it's not in the way. On the PS4 controller, the fucking thing's huge. So, you know, if you're trying to hit the options or the share button, you got all this fucking shit in your way. And it's really hard to actually hit these buttons right here without hitting this button. Likewise, sometimes you'll be wanting to hit this fucking cocksucker and you'll accidentally hit share. Or you accidentally hit options. You, God forbid you accidentally hit share because you don't have the shit set up right, because it's a pain in the ass. And so, you know, you end up in a menu or somewhere out of the game that you didn't want because you hit the stupid share button. Which, by the way, the share button, this little button right here, this thing didn't do anything at launch. It took like 4 or 5 months before they actually made this button do anything. Anything. So, also, the PS4 controller, in relation to the PS3 controller, is wider. Like, it's physically wider this way. You know, so when you have children trying to play this shit, they've made the controller harder for them to play, basically, because their thumbs have to go even further inward to get on the thumbsticks than they do on the PS3 controller. You know, here on the PS3 controller, you've got your shoulder buttons, you know, and you've got your R1 and L1, and, like, I played a lot of Call of Duty, so R1 and L1 was always my triggers. And if I did try to swap the triggers and set it to these, I felt like it was really hard because instead of having my fingers here, which felt like more natural, I would have to cant them way down like this. And it's physically tasking, or taxing, whatever, to hold them on these buttons, right? Well, with the PS4 controller, they didn't change any of the ergonomics as far as the angle of the shit. And they require you, basically, to put your fingers in that uncomfortable position. And not only that, but the triggers they give you are just bullshit. I mean, that's supposed to be a trigger. I know it's chromaing out and stuff. I don't know. You know, here's my Xbox One controller, which is probably even worse for the chroma. But, you know, you can see the trigger actually lips up quite a bit. I mean, you can't really see it. I don't know. It's kind of fucked. But, you know, you can keep your fingers on those triggers. Like, if you're trying to hit the triggers on the PS4 controller, basically your fingers, you know, they'll do this shit. They'll slide off the end if you're you know, too much into the game. The other thing I can't stand is the rubber on these thumbsticks feels like some kind of rubber that human skin is not supposed to stick to. Like, at first it's fine, but as soon as you start sweating it all, which I'm a fat guy, so I sweat. As soon as you start sweating it all, your thumbs are just everywhere. Whereas with the PS3, I never had that problem with the PS3 controller. Now, let's get into something that I really want to talk about. Battery life. Here's my PS3 controller. This sumbitch hasn't been charged in months, dude, and it's still got some life to it. And that's the thing I really love about the PS3 controller, is that I could fully charge this thing, unplug it, and I could play for 2 straight days without even having to worry about plugging this thing back in. I didn't even have to worry about it. But with PS4, if you want to play wirelessly with the PS4 controller, you have to have 2 of them. Because one of them's going to be charging, and the other one's going to be going dead here in just about 5 minutes. That's literally what it's like with the PS4 controller. I feel like the absolute most time I've ever got out of the battery of one of these is like 5 or 6 hours. And then it's dead. And, you know, it's because it's got shit like a mic and a speaker. Like, okay, hello Wii U, yeah, we're going to try to do everything you're doing right now, so we're going to put, you know, a speaker, a mic. For the longest time, this light on the front here wasn't cut into the... it's crudely cut into the touchpad so that you can see it while you're playing now. But before, it wasn't even like that. Like, the light blinked out here on the front, and people were like, oh my god, when I'm getting chased by the cops in GTA, the lights are blinking red and blue on the front of my controller. But if I sit here and look at it, I'm fucking getting killed by the cops. Like, who the fuck ever even noticed the light was blinking on the front of their controller that was actually playing? Because if you're playing, you're sitting here holding a controller like this. I can't see the fucking light. I can't see the fucking light. It serves no purpose. The worst part about the light is that you can only dim the shit. You can't even turn it off. Like, it'd be great if you could just disable the cocksucker completely so that you didn't have to have it draining your battery constantly, but you can't do that. You can't do that. They're like, oh, this light is fundamental to the operation of this goddamn piece of shit. Like, seriously, I don't know what kind of eagle shit the guy at Games Radar was smoking when he made that article saying that the PS4 controller is better than the PS3 controller, and that he wants to figure out, or he was like, oh, here's how you can use a PS4 controller on your PS3. You know, I would rather slam this into the ground than use it on my PS3. And I would, but I'm going to shoot it later to try to fix it. That all being said, I like my PS3 more than I like my PS4. You know, the PS4 did not feel like a next-gen launch. It just didn't. And really, neither did the Xbox One. In fact, the Scorpio, to me, is what we should have got when the PS4 and Xbox One came out. And it's a whole other topic for discussion, and I'm not really going to get into it. But yeah, the controller for the PS4 is a horrible piece of shit. It was poorly designed. You know, I hate everything about the touchpad. These buttons are too close, you know, to the touchpad, so you end up hitting them when you don't want to. The triggers are shit. The battery life is shit. It doesn't need a speaker. It doesn't need a mic. Like, I just don't care. You know, when the PS3 controller came out, it was this 6-axis. Like, that was the thing. Like, you can rotate this controller, and it knows its position on a 6-axis type thing. So basically, it's supposed to have full motion control. You know. And it's just, I don't even know where I was going with that. But goddamn, like, I played PS3 through its whole life cycle. You know, so I have about 10 years of holding this PS3 controller in my hand and play testing it. You know, and then I've got a couple of years with this hunk of shit. And I'll tell you right now, that's what it is. I just don't understand the desire to even use this controller. And this is why I can't be a PS4 player in general, because when I fire up the PS4, this is what I got to use to interact with it. If I could even just use my PS3 controller to operate my PS4, I might play it more often. But, like I said, when this is what I have to use to interact with that system, I can't do it. That's literally one of the main reasons why I went Xbox, because of the controller. And if you're asking for my opinion, yes, the Xbox controller is way better than this one, and it's even better than this one. I honestly feel like this controller right here, the Xbox One Elite freaking wireless or whatever, this is the best controller that's ever came out on the market. I've also got a Scuff One that I ordered right when they became available. I've got a Scuff 360 controller. I had a Scuff PS3 controller. It ended up breaking on me, actually, because I used it so much. But I would never scuff a PS4 controller. Like, why would you pay $100 extra, and they're never going to do anything about the battery? Like, you look at the body of these two controllers, there's way more space in this one than there is this one. But why did they use the shittiest battery known to mankind, and probably even a smaller one, in this controller when they got extra room? The controller weighs more than this one by quite a bit. But the battery life, it's just not there. So yeah, this has just been a rambling rant. I know it's a long video, and if you're here to this point, good on you. If not, I totally understand, because, I've been rambling. But yeah, thanks for watching. I am Zombie Cartman, like I said, and goddamn, PS3 controller is better than the PS4 controller. And if you don't think so, it's because your ass is getting paid money by Sony to say so. Period.